start. So today we will discuss about the pharmacokinetic models. So pharmacokinetics is the quantitative measurement of the absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion of the administered drug. It includes the rate processes for drug movement into the body, within the body and out of the body. So however, the drug movement in the body is a complex process. Therefore, we need to develop a generalized and simple approach to describe, analyze and interpret the data obtained during the in vivo drug disposition studies. That is, when we give a drug, when we administer by any route, the drug moves through the body. The drug gets absorbed, distributed, metabolized and excreted. So this drug movement is a complex process. So how do we describe this process? How can we analyze or interpret the data? What that means, how much drug has entered into the blood, how much drug is in some particular tissue. How can we describe these things? Okay, so for that we use some approaches. The two major approaches that are used in the quantitative study of the various kinetic processes of drug disposition in the body are, we use a model based approach. One is the compartment model. It is an empirical approach. And then we have the physiological model, which is a realistic model, and also distributed parameter model, or which is also a realistic model. Okay, so model independent approach is also there, which is called non-compartmental analysis. Okay, so what do we do in a pharmacokinetic model approach? So what is a model? We need to understand what is a model. A model is a mathematical description of a biologic system. It is used to express quantitative relationships. Pharmacokinetic models provide a concise means of expressing mathematically or quantitatively the time course of drugs throughout the body. That means how the drug is moving through the body. What is the time course can be expressed mathematically or quantitatively by using these kind of pharmacokinetic models. Okay, so these pharmacokinetic models also help in computing meaningful pharmacokinetic parameters like Cmax, that is what is the maximum concentration of drug that has reached the plasma, or what is the time taken to reach the maximum concentration, or AUC, which is the total amount of drug which has reached the systemic circulation. So we are going to describe the movement of the time course of drug throughout the body mathematically or quantitatively by means of pharmacokinetic models. It is a mathematical description which is used to express quantitative relationships. The relationship between the time and plasma drug concentration can be expressed. Last class I explained to you the curve, the plasma drug concentration versus time profile, where you can know what is the Cmax, maximum, Tmax, then AUC. All these things can be computed if you use this kind of mathematical models or the pharmacokinetic model approach. So pharmacokinetic models are useful in characterizing the behavior of drugs in patients. So predicting the concentration of drug in various body fluids with any dosage regimen. You know, when you go to a doctor, they give you a dosage regimens, maybe 1-0-1. That means take the drug once in the morning, then once in night, like that, TID, BID. There will be a dosage regimen for whatever drug is prescribed. So you can predict what is the concentration of the drug once it is administered in the body fluids. And you can predict the multi-dose concentration curves from single dose experiments. Similarly, using pharmacokinetic models, you can calculate the optimum dosage regimen for individual patients. and you can evaluate the risk of toxicity with certain dosage regimens. Correlation of the plasma drug concentration with pharmacologic response can be done. What is the plasma drug concentration? What is the therapeutic or pharmacologic response that has been achieved can be correlated if you use these kind of pharmacokinetic models. Similarly, it can be useful in evaluating the bioequivalence or bioinequivalence between different formulations of the same drug and in explaining drug interactions. Also, it is useful in determining the possible drug or metabolite accumulation in the body. So these various aspects can be described or can be explained using the pharmacokinetic models. So basically there are different approaches. Like I told you earlier, there is compartment modeling, there is non-compartment modeling, there is physiologic modeling. And the main thing that we are going to study is about compartment modeling, which we will also deal in the next few units. So what is compartment modeling? So compartment modeling is the traditional and most commonly used approach for the pharmacokinetic characterization of the drug. So here what we assume is, you are assuming that the body is composed of several compartments that communicate reversibly with each other. Now what is a compartment? A compartment is a group of tissues having similar blood flow and drug affinity. A compartment is, what is a compartment? It is a group of tissues with similar blood flow and drug affinity. It is not a real physiologic or anatomic region. Okay. So a model is a mathematical description, okay, of the time course of the drug. We are describing it using a model. And a compartment is a group of tissues with similar blood flow and drug affinity. So if one considers every organ, tissue or body fluid that can get equilibrated with the drug as a compartment, you can say that there are infinite number of compartments in the body. So if you consider every organ, tissue or body fluid that can get equilibrated with the drug, if you regard it as a compartment, then you can say that there are infinite number of compartments in the body. And the mathematical description of such a model will definitely be very complex. So what we do is that tissues which are having approximately similar drug distribution characteristics are pooled to form a kinetically homogeneous hypothetical compartment. What do you mean by that? Tissues which are approximately similar in their drug distribution characteristics. That means, for example, there are highly perfused tissues like the liver, lungs, kidney. So such tissues will be pulled together into a kinetically homogeneous hypothetical compartment. It is also assumed that the rate of drug movement between compartments follow first order kinetics. What happens in first order kinetics? What is in first order kinetics? It is dependent on the initial concentration of the drug that has been administered. Okay, so we assume that the rate of drug movement between the compartment follows the first order kinetics. So the kinetics of most drugs can be described by this kind of a hypothetical model consisting of 1, 2 or at the most 3 functional compartments arranged in series or parallel to each other. Okay. So what we are assuming, the body is composed of a number of compartments. Okay. And you are assuming that every organ, tissue or body fluid that can get equilibrated with the drug is a compartment. And tissues which are approximately similar in their drug distribution characteristics are considered to be a homogeneous hypothetical compartment. They are assumed to be a single compartment. So we can, depending on whether the compartment model is arranged in parallel or in series, you can divide it into two categories, the mammillary model and the catenary model. So what is a mammillary model? What is a catenary model? So you can see the diagram here for the, this is for the mammillary compartment model. So you can see here, see the bird in model 1, you can see there is one single compartment. And if it is for IV administration, you assume that the in that there is no absorption. So the absorption part is not there, only the elimination part is seen. So so there can be in a two compartment model, you can see there are two compartments. There is a central compartment, there is a peripheral compartment. So you can, so the tissues which are having the same type of blood flow, tissues or organs which have same type of blood flow can be grouped into one compartment, which are having poor blood flow into another compartment. Okay, so okay, that's the description given here about the, so mammillary model is the most common compartment model which is used in pharmacokinetics. So it consists of one or more peripheral compartments connected to the central compartment in a manner similar to the connection of satellites to a planet. So that is, they are joined parallel to the central compartment. So you can see, like, there is, if you look here, this is, you can see there is a central compartment and the other compartments are around this central compartment. Those are the peripheral compartments. So the central compartment has good blood flow and the peripheral compartments have poor blood flow. So that is the way it is organized and grouped. Okay, so in where there we discuss, there are two types of compartment. Compartment models are divided into two categories: mammillary model and catenary model. So we are discussing mainly about the mammillary model, which is more commonly used. It is the most commonly used compartment model. So it consists of the central and peripheral compartment. So what is the central compartment? The central compartment consists of the plasma and highly perfused tissues such as the lungs, liver, kidneys. So these are all highly perfused tissues. They have more blood flow. So these can rapidly equilibrate with the drug. So these tissues together are grouped to form the central compartment. So a drug is directly absorbed into the central compartment is what we are assuming. So elimination also occurs from this compartment, since the chief organs involved in drug elimination are the liver and the kidneys, the highly perfused tissues. We know that lungs, liver, kidneys, they are all highly perfused tissues. So we also know that what happens when you administer the drug, it is absorbed and it goes into the blood, and then it is distributed to the other organs or tissues, and naturally after that it is eliminated by the main organs like the liver and kidneys. There are also other organs like skin, sweat, through which the drug is eliminated, but the main organs of elimination are the liver and the kidneys. So we are assuming that the drug is entering and entering to the central compartment, also eliminated from the central compartment is the general assumption, though there are also other situations. Okay, so what is the peripheral compartment? The peripheral compartment or tissue compartments are those with low vascularity and poor perfusion. So these, we discussed that the mammillary model, you are considering this, there is a central compartment consisting of highly perfused tissues like the lungs, liver, kidneys. There is the peripheral compartment which is of the poorly perfused tissues like the bones, so things which are adipose tissue where the blood flow is poor. So those tissues consist of the peripheral compartment. Distribution of drug to these compartments is through the blood. So we can see this the various mammillary compartment models. So you can also see the model 1 in which you are seeing only the central compartment. So in case of a one compartment open model, we only have one compartment for all the tissues and organs are just grouped into a single compartment. And even IV administration, when you are giving, naturally there is no absorption process, there is only the elimination process. So you can see the elimination occurring from the central compartment. It is given by K10. K10 is the rate constant. It is the first order rate constant, elimination rate constant. Then there is K0 in model 2. You can see again, this is in case of extravascular administration or oral administration. So when you are giving the drug through the oral route, for example, a tablet or capsule, naturally there will be the absorption phase as well. And so it is given by the rate constant K01 from out to in. To compartment 1, it is K01 is the first order absorption rate constant, while K10 is the elimination first order elimination rate constant. Why do you call it K10? The movement of the drug is from the first compartment to the outside. So elimination is occurring. This is the elimination phase. You can see a model 3, which is a 2-compartment open model for IV administration. So again, in intravenous administration, we know that there is no absorption phase. There is only the here there is a distribution. You can see 2 compartments here. There is a central compartment as well as a peripheral compartment. Central compartment is given by 1 and peripheral compartment is given denoted by 2. So the rate constant for distribution from central compartment. So once the drug, you are injecting the drug into the blood, naturally it is going into the central compartment. Then what happens? It is distributed to the peripheral compartment. From the highly perfused tissues, the blood is going into the distributing into the poorly perfused tissues. So after equilibration, what happens? Again, it is going from these poorly perfused tissues or the peripheral compartment back into the central compartment. And from the central compartment, the drug gets eliminated. You are assuming it. See, so this is a model where you are describing the movement of the drug. So this is what is happening in compartment modeling. You are describing and quantitating the movement of the drug between the various compartments. So you know that the elimination occurs from the central compartment and it is given by the first order elimination rate constant K10. So as I told you, elimination occurs with the help of liver, kidney. So elimination includes both metabolism as well as excretion. So the rate constant is given by K10. So in model 4, again you can see a 2-compartment open model. So why do you call it a 2-compartment model? Because you can see there is the central compartment. There is also the peripheral compartment. The central compartment of highly perfused tissues. The peripheral compartment consisting of poorly perfused tissues. So in extravascular administration or oral administration, you are through any route other than IV route where there is absorption, there is the absorption rate constant K01, which denotes the movement of drug. First order rate constant for movement of drug from outside into the, which is denoting the absorption phase. And then from 1 to 2, it is moving, denoted by K1, 2. So movement of drug from 2 to 1 is given by K21, the rate constant K21. So this is there is the absorption phase, there is the distribution phase, and there is also the elimination phase. Each of these are described by rate constants. Okay. So then, yeah. The next is the model, a 3-compartment open model. So for why do we call it open? Because both absorption as well as elimination are occurring from the central compartment. Okay. And in this model 5, you can see a 3-compartment open model. Why do you call it 3-compartment? There are 3 compartments, the central compartment 1 and 2 peripheral compartments are there now. So it is described by 1 central compartment and 2 peripheral compartments. So their numbers are given, 1 for the central compartment, 2 and 3 for the peripheral compartments. So you can see in IV administration, there is no absorption phase. There is only distribution as well as elimination phase. So from movement of drug from compartment 1 to 3 is given by the rate constant, first order rate constant, distribution rate constant K13, and from movement from 3 to 1 is given by K31. Similarly, movement of drug from 1 to 2 is given by K12, and from 2 to 1 is given by K21. And the elimination is given by the equation, rate constant K10. So this is for a 3-compartment open model for IV administration. Then we have another model which is a 3-compartment open model for extravascular administration. Here you can see there are again 3 compartments. Since there is the absorption phase, the absorption rate constant is given by K01, which indicates the movement of drug from out into the central compartment, and the distribution is given by this rate constant K13, which indicates that the drug is moving reversibly from the central compartment to the peripheral compartment. 1 to 3 is given by K13. And again there is K31 is movement of the drug back from 3 to 1. Similarly, distribution of the drug from 1 to 2 is given by K12, and from the peripheral compartment 2 back to the central compartment is given by K21. So this is a visual representation of the way the drug is moving, the time course of the movement of drug in the plasma. This is represented by this kind of compartments. So as I discussed, what is the rate constant? It is denoted by the letter K. So it is a first order rate constant. Movement of drug between the compartments is defined by a characteristic first order rate constants denoted by the letter K. So the subscript indicates the direction of movement of drugs. So K12 means movement of drug from the compartment 1, that is from the central compartment, to the compartment 2 or the peripheral compartment. And reverse will be K21. So how can you know how many rate constants will be there in a particular compartment model? It is given by this term R. So for IV administration, R equals 2n minus 1, where n is the number of compartments. So in IV, so imagine if we have just one compartment, okay? So n will be equal to 1. So there will be just one rate constant. As you have seen in this picture, you see this first model, there is only one compartment, there is only one rate constant. Similarly, if there is, in case of extravascular administration, suppose there is one compartment, there will be 2 rate constants. You can see here, if there is just one compartment, there will be two rate constants K01, K10. And if there are two compartments, naturally there will be four rate constants. We can see here. In case of two compartments, did you see model 4? You see there are two compartments and there are four rate constants K01, K10, K12 and K21. So you can compute the number of rate constants for a particular compartment model by this particular equation. R equals 2n minus 1 for IV administration and R equals 2n for extravascular administration, where n is the number of compartments. So the other model, we said that there are two types of models which are in compartment modeling. One is the mammillary model, other is the catenary model. So till now we were discussing about the mammillary model, where you are assuming that there is a central compartment and the other compartments are around the central compartment. It may be parallel to each other. It may be parallel to one another, like the planet with satellites around it. In the case of a catenary model, what happens? You are assuming that the compartments are joined to one another in a series, like the compartments of a train. You can see here, compartment 1, 2, 3, like they are arranged in series. So in the catenary model, the compartments are joined to one another in a series, like the compartments of a train. So this is not how observable physiologically or anatomically, as the various organs are directly linked to the blood compartment. So ideally it is not possible, because we know that the various organs will be, all the organs are directly linked to the central compartment. So this model is not commonly used. Will be usually occurring from the central compartment generally. Okay. Here that is generally assumed like that. The elimination will be from the central compartment. Here we have discussed. There are also models where elimination occurs from the peripheral compartment, but here we are discussing only of those where the elimination is occurring from the central compartment. Okay.
Okay.
So the advantages of catenary model. So catenary model, we discussed earlier about the mammillary model. So now we are discussing about the catenary model. What are the advantages and disadvantages? So the catenary model will give a visual representation of various rate processes involved in the drug disposition. So it shows how many rate constants are necessary to describe these processes. So it is also useful in predicting drug concentration time profile in both normal physiologic and pathological conditions. It is important in the development of dosage regimens. Now, what are the disadvantages of this catenary model? So the compartment and parameters bear no relationship with the physiological functions or the anatomic structure of the species. Several assumptions have to be made to facilitate data interpretation. So the result may vary within a study population. The approach can be applied only to a specific drug under study. So the drug behavior within the body may fit different compartment models depending on the route of administration. So that's about the catenary model. So earlier we discussed about the mammillary model, which is more commonly used. So what is the summary of this discussion? What is the in pharmacokinetics, we quantitatively describe the absorption ADME of the drug. Also, it includes the rate processes for movement of drug into the body, within the body, and out of the body. So this movement of drug in the body is a complex process. So to describe, analyze, and interpret the data involved in the in vivo drug disposition studies, we develop a generalized and simple approach. So mainly we use some kinds of approach. One is the model-based approach, and other is the model-independent approach. So today we have discussed about the compartment model, which is an empirical model. So what is a model? A model is this mathematic description of the biologic system. It is used to express quantitative relationships. In other words, it is a means of expressing mathematically or quantitatively the time course of the drug throughout the body. So we discussed about the uses of pharmacokinetic models and what is compartment-based model, or what is a compartment model. A compartment is what? A group of tissues having similar blood flow and drug affinity. So we discussed two types of the models. One is the mammillary model, which is commonly used, and the other is the catenary model. So compartment modeling can, in the mammillary model, you are assuming that the compartments are connected to the central compartment in a manner similar to connection of satellites to a planet. While in the catenary model, it is in series.